All right, welcome in, welcome in. We are continuing our lens crafting series where we dissect various worldviews and list out the consequences of various ideas. With this, of course, if you are joining us mid-series, there's no worry there because each of them should be able to stand up as standalone videos. And frankly, I'm going to be suggesting videos both past, present, and future throughout this anyways. So watch it in whatever order you want because it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. But alrighty, today's is Anthropology, and to discuss this, we have a special little panelist with us. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Katie Bug. I'm a VTuber. Yeah.
Yeah, you are. What kind of content do you make?
I make a variety, mainly JRPGs. I play visual novels and lots of romance. So, if you like that sort of thing.
Yeah. And she tries to make everything a romance no matter what, anyways.
I don't know about that. Close to.
Oh boy. Alrighty. But with that, so anthropology, what on earth does that mean? So, in a more traditional sense, anthropology can be seen as like, usually when someone's saying that they're going to college to study anthropology, it's more on the culture side of things, right? And looking at society, especially in history. But though anthropology is in today's context here, we're going by this definition: beliefs about the nature and purpose of man in general and of oneself in particular. There's beliefs about the nature and purpose of man in general and oneself in particular. So, what is a human and how should humans act with one another? That is what we're getting at today. And to start off with what is a human, there are various different camps out there, but though like I decided to boil it down to just two because they're the two most prevalent ones today. Because like we could go all sorts of directions on this. But though the two that I'm going to have us start off with covering is the Imago Dei and the naturalistic. So the Imago Dei. Have you heard that term before, Katie?
I had not. I didn't even know how to say it. When my chat asked me what we were covering, I'm like, humans created in God's likeness.
Yes. Basically, yeah. So yeah, the Imago Dei is a Latin phrase that just literally translates to the image of God.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So that gets thrown around quite a bit in like theology camps. Frankly, here's the thing. I love theology terms because it helps you like categorize your faith very well, and it's very useful. This is one where it's less useful because it's just the Latin for image of God, and I could just easily say image of God.
Yeah, for real. It would also be helpful for people who aren't as theologically in the theological camps.
Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah. But anyways, just to appease all of the theology nerds that might be watching this, Imago Dei. Woo! I used your phrase. There you go.
I'm a theology nerd, just I guess not that much of a theology nerd. Maybe I need to work harder.
Oh boy. Well, that's the point of these series. That is the point of me doing all these theology talks in general. Is like I want to dig deeper and give like I don't want this to just be like some Bible study of all the things that you've heard like 100 times in sermons already. I want this to be digging deeper than you would get in a Sunday service.
Yes, I'm here for that.
Yes. Alrighty. So, what does it mean to be created in the image or likeness of God? What does that mean?
Oh my gosh, I guess I've never really thought about it that deeply, because like to me, being made in the image of God is like reflecting his characteristics. And so like, what are his characteristics? And I'm like, well, one of them is to love, but how do you love if you don't know that you're made in his image, let alone don't know him? Like different things like that.
Exactly. Yeah. So no, you've hit the nail on the head there. That is to like, a good metaphor for it that I've heard. When various kings would, assert their rule over nations that they've taken over, they would often create a statue of their king, of the king that took over the place, and erect it within that town that they've taken over, and that there would assert that king's rule over there. Basically that statue was supposed to be a representation of that king also standing there to say this is mine, right? So
wow.
We so that same phrase, the image of, like that is used like in the Hebrew and stuff, would also be used to say the image of the king, in this same sense. So basically we as God's image bearers are here to point towards who actually rules this earth. We are here to show, but though because we are living beings, we don't only show physically, but we also get the chance to show in character as well. Mm-hmm. Though because of the fall, right? Like us committing sin is marring the image of God as a result, right? So we are made in the image of God. That is true, period. All of us are equally made in the image of God, and therefore we are all of equal value. And so that is so someone sinning and misrepresenting God does not make them less made in the image of God. So let's make that clear.
Yeah. Most def.
Yeah. Alrighty. The other camp here is the more naturalistic view, right? Which is to say that mankind is just kind of formed by natural processes, evolution, etc., right?
We came from monkeys.
Exactly. It could be that we came from monkeys, or even just so last week we covered cosmology, which is like how the universe began, and there are some camps that like believe that a god might have made the universe, but though like they certainly don't think that man was made in the image of God or anything like that, and therefore like. One of the consequences of this naturalistic view is you don't get human-animal distinction, right?
Oh, that's where that comes from.
Yeah, well, because think of it, if both us and like a monkey and an ant and all sorts and other creatures like that are all like created by accident, then we would say that we are all equally created accidentally, and that no one is more important than others.
Yeah.
But that is simply not the case, right? Like, it is very clear. Like, if we were to open up actually here, let's open up Genesis 9. Which, for context, Genesis 9, this is just after the events of the flood, and this is God making a covenant with Noah after everything is all nice and dried up. So Genesis 9. Can I have you, Katie, read verses 1 through 5 when you get to there?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be reading out of a New King James Version though.
Sure.
Okay. You said 1 through 5?
Yes.
So God blessed Noah and his sons and said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. And the fear of you and the dread of you shall be on every beast of the earth, on every bird of the air, on all that move on the earth, and on all the fish of the sea. They are given into your hand. Every moving thing that lives shall be food for you. I have given you all things, even as the green herbs. You shall not eat flesh with its life, that is its blood. Surely for your lifeblood I will demand a reckoning. For the hand of every beast I shall require it, and from the hand of man from the hand of every man's brother I will require the life of man."
So here, there is a punishment given for like anything that ends up harming a so the fear of you will be on every beast of the earth, and the lifeblood will be required from every living thing, and then it goes on to say, "Whoever sheds man's blood, by man his blood shall be shed. For in the image of God he made man." Right? There's a reason there. So this is capital punishment. It is to say that whoever sheds man's blood, by man his blood shall also be shed. And the reason for this is because man is made in the image of God. Mm-hmm. So the same is not present for animals, right? If you kill a deer, then you don't have to kill the human that killed that deer. Absolutely not.
Right.
And the reason for that is because that deer was not made in God's image.
Yeah, the only ones that were made in the image of God, and the Bible is very clear, are humans.
Exactly. So that then brings us to let's define our terms here, right? So what is a human? When I Googled define human, it told me of a human being. So then I had to Google, okay, what is a human being? And then I got a more straight answer, which is a man, woman, or child of the species Homo sapiens, because apparently a child is neither a man nor a woman, or other extinct species of the genus Homo, a human. So this is this is coming from such a naturalistic perspective here to say, because it's talking about anything that's of the genus Homo, which, okay, so could you,
human.
Yeah, could a monkey, I don't know what genus the various monkeys are, but though, is there any other creatures that count as the genus Homo that could count as a human by this definition? I
don't think so.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I've never looked into it that much.
Peter Singer would be so mad right now, says Lufaya. Whoever that is, I don't know who that is, but whoever that is, so be it. So I have this amazing book that came with the package of Logos Bible software that I bought. That is called the Dictionary of Bible Themes, which acts as both a dictionary and a concordance, and it is beautiful.
Love that.
Yes. For humans, it also told me to go see Human Race. So
okay, so at least I have that in common.
Yep, they did. And so so this definition that the Dictionary of Bible Themes gave me is human beings are the high point of God's creation. They alone are created in his image. As a result of sin, they are alienated from God and from one another and are unable by themselves to alter the situation. The salvation of humanity rests totally upon the atoning sacrifice of Jesus Christ received by grace through faith. So, this is a good definition, and then it's defined. The thing is with this definition is it also defines humans as alienated from God. So, I would say that's like, so does that mean that once we are unalienated from God through receiving this grace through faith, that we are no longer human? So, just some nitpicks on this definition that I have. So I then created my own definition. Because I then also did some various research. Like there's some others that I didn't make some slides for here. Like Thomas Aquinas, defined a human as being a rational persons. Which I loved that. So I tried to combine all these different definitions that I found into one sentence, and I came up with this: rational persons made in the image of God, distinct by their calling and nature. Rational persons made in the image of God, distinct by their calling and nature. So let's break each of these down. So, what does it mean to be rational? What do you think of when you think of that?
When I think of rational, I think of someone who is, in general, of sound mind, as in someone who can think, isn't overcome by emotions, you can communicate with.
Is a cat rational?
I don't know. It depends on the cat. But hold on. I feel like I need to look up the definition of rational.
Fire saying in chat, no, plenty of irrational people made in the image of God. Are they human?
How irrational are they?
Yeah.
Can they be rationalized?
Yeah. But that actually makes me think, because there in the Bible, God once made Nebuchadnezzar to be animal-like by making him lose his ability to rationalize and think for himself, right? So it was so he basically ended up acting like an animal out there, and Let me pull up that story so that I'm not speaking out of my butt. But if I remember correctly, it says that he gained back his ability to think at the end of it, and
I'm pretty sure that's right.
Yeah. So, but
if we're talking about the definition of rational of based on or in accordance with logic or reason, so something that can have logic or reason. I think to a certain extent other animals can, I don't want to say necessarily use logic, but they try to make judgments, right, on different things. And so can a cat be rational like a human? No, because they are acting on instinct alone. So there's a difference between instinct and rationalization. Even a dog, which, dogs can be pretty smart at times, are really acting on instinct at the end of the day, and are not, we would not say that they are rational creatures. They're not marked out by their ability to be rational, right? They are more instinctual
than rational. It's debatable as to if they can even rationalize at all.
Yeah, we can't prove that they can.
Yeah.
I think this is gonna be a wild one, but go with me. I think Up is a good example of how like dogs can be irrational and not rational versus humans.
Yes.
Because of how they portray dogs.
I do like how the movie Up portrayed dogs, where really like if you can whittle down their thought processes to ball, run, squirrel, like, you know, they are very like single-minded, not really. Yeah, they are reacting to what's in front of them, really.
Yes. Yeah.
Exactly. Alrighty, so that breaks down that word. All right, persons. This has to do with like individuality, right? Because think of like the persons of the Trinity, right? Each person of the Trinity, the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, we say that they are distinct persons, but they are equally God, right?
Yeah.
So, how would you define a person?
I don't know. Like a living being? Like a Homo sapien with blood flowing through their veins?
Yeah, basically just
deceased?
an individual, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That one, it's a person. That one is a little bit more abstract, but though basically what we're getting at are these like individuals, you could say.
Yeah.
Made in the image of God, which we've already defined that, and distinct by their calling and nature. So, this, and by that I mean distinct compared to other created species, right? So,
yeah.
What is our calling and nature as humans?
I mean, I would say that our calling in nature is to have oneness with God, like to be in a relationship with God at its basis.
Yeah, I mean, that does go back to the that definition that I had from the Dictionary of Bible Themes, where like, yeah. So they were alienated from God and from one another, and that, you know, and so part of their calling, you could say, is to have fellowship with their creator in a way that the rest of creation cannot.
Yeah. And then I would say another part of the calling is to like cultivate the earth, like to have
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, subdue the earth, be fruitful and multiply.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah, those are some of the basic things to being a human. And let's note that actually, subduing the earth is a part of our human calling and nature. Like,
yeah.
So therefore, like, it is a good thing to tear down a forest in order to make way for humans to build a city, for example, right? We don't want to do so unnecessarily. We want to still
you don't want to be wasteful.
Yeah, we still want to steward the earth well, but though, like, we shouldn't see the tearing down of trees in and of itself as bad.
Right, there are like lumber yards, right, where basically their job there is to plant trees, to grow them, to cut them down again, to like make products, to make like, you know, wood and stuff with them, paper, all that good stuff. So,
and for that you can go and see the Tough Topics talk on Earth stewardship over on my VODs and Theology channel. Yeah,
do it, just not right now.
Yeah, finish this video, finish what you started.
Yeah, commit to the bit.
But yes, so the whatchamacallit, so in talking about this distinction between humans and animals, right, and the fact that animals are not made in the image of God and all this stuff, one of the things that I wanted to bring up. You already see where I'm going with this?
I think I see where you're going with this.
We were talking about furry culture.
I knew it was coming. It's okay.
Yeah, I did give Katie an outline of all the topics I wanted to cover tonight, but not necessarily in the order that we were going to cover them. So
it's true. So I have an outline of like what we're talking about, but not when we're talking about it.
Yeah, because I have changed it since I gave it to her. But anyways, yeah. So, Katie, define a furry.
It depends on who you talk to, but I'm gonna give the fandom definition of furries.
Okay.
As an ex furry con goer, I would say the fandom definition of being a furry is it's a human who will sometimes self-identify as an anthropomorphic character, as in they will make an animal that looks human and identify as it.
Yes. And sometimes it's not even an anthropomorphic. So anthropomorphic, you can see the word like anthropos there is I believe the root word. And that's where we get anthropology, the study of humanity. So it's all good linguistic nerdiness there for all y'all. And the so they would have these like creatures that still have a human shape in terms of like bipedal, stands on two legs, has arms, has head, the shape, and then they start kind of like what I would say marring the image of God by adding on all sorts of various features to where they start becoming less and less human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are some people in the fandom who have full-on feral forms, as they call them, where they're creatures that walk around on their, like, basically if you ever see a human, because like I've been to fur conventions before because I used to be in the fandom. They're in a suit and they're walking around on their hands and on their feet, and it just looks so uncomfortable. I'm like, bro, how?
They're not built for that. Oh gosh.
No, we are not built for that. Nope.
I knew about the ferals, but I didn't know what they did at those conventions. Oh gosh.
Yeah. So basically, they're in a full body suit. Some people have stilts actually, so they make it look like they're walking on all fours, but they're really not. Others are literally walking around on all fours. It kind of just depends on how they make their suit.
Oh boy. So here's the problem with all that, right? So I mean, Katie, you have some little cat ears on you. You have some like butterfly wings here, right? But though, like, I don't think any of that stuff is like taking away from you representing the image of God with how, human you have made your character here.
Yeah, the cat ears and the butterfly wings are a play on my name, which is cat for the cat ears, and bug, so the butterfly wings for the bug part. It's cat D bug. It's a play on my name.
Sure. Yeah.
I've seen scary TikTok shorts. Yeah, I believe it.
Oh, I'm sorry, Lufaya. I've seen scarier, don't worry. But yeah, so the thing is what we should establish here. Yo, Banana's Hannah in the chat. Welcome me in.
I would say her name is Hannah is a banana. I always read it backwards. I just had to say that.
I love that. Alrighty. So in terms of, is being a furry a sin? Here's the thing. Before I go into that, let's talk about the links between furry culture and LGBTQ, because they go hand in hand like peanut butter jelly.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason for that too. It's because they don't like the way that God made them. They want to reinvent themselves. So rather than like learning to become comfortable how God made them and the way that they are, they seek identity. They seek validation in reinventing themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have anything to add to that.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's an identity issue.
Yes, exactly. It's an identity issue. Lufai in the chat saying when it's an accessory, it's okay, like what Katie's got there, but when it takes over your entire persona and covers you up, it seems wrong on almost a spiritual level. The idea of covering up your physical form made by God. Exactly.
I think I'm gonna say this because I actually have a fursuit. I think for me that depends on intentionality, right? Like I know at the end of the day, like I am not an animal. I kind of equate it to a mascot suit almost of me just like putting on a costume like I would for Halloween. So for me, it's like, why am I wearing it and what's like my intentionality behind it? Because like I know my identity. And so I feel like for a lot of people, because they don't, it's so easy to get lost in it and to make up this like whole imaginative world of like, oh, this is who I am now. I'm like this animal creature, but you're not, you're human.
Exactly. Grim and Levin, welcome in as well.
Hi.
Welcome. And yeah, so the yeah, I guess unpack that a bit. So why did you purchase that fursuit in the first place then?
Oh my gosh. So my original one I purchased is because I took pandas and I took tigers and I took the two animals that I really enjoyed and I turned them into a costume. And so it was more of a like, hey, I like these two things. I want to mesh them together and make something new that's creative and is an creative, not like I would say a creative outlet, just because like VTubing is also a creative outlet, and to do something fun with it. And originally, but as I got my fursuit and I started to go to cons, my goal was to be kind of like a light and a witness and to talk to people and just kind of love on people where they were and to make friends and be like, hey, like the Lord loves you. Like if you ever want to talk, know I'm here. Like know that you're beautifully and fearfully and wonderfully made. And eventually it just became apparent that like that mission solo, because like all my friends who were Christian kind of faded away as they got further and further into the fandom. I'm just like, you know what? I still love Jesus. This isn't my place anymore. I'm just gonna stop participating. If I don't have a team or people to go with me in, like there's no way to do it.
Yeah, because at that point you're just going to a club, like to embrace the more sinful. And I love what Lufaya says in here that he and his wife do like cosplay, like Star Wars costumes and stuff. And he's saying the intentionality is important at the end of the day, right? Because there's one thing about about costumes and pretend, and there's another thing when it's like, this is my identity.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the hardest things about being in the furry fandom was watching people get their whole life wrapped up in this animal creature that they made. And I'm like, you're not some animal creature, you're a human.
Yeah.
And there were lovely people who I met there who I honestly wish I still had, like, we stayed in contact, but because, like, I love the Lord and they felt condemned, I guess, or, like, judged by me, we just stopped talking, because they would ask me questions and I'd be honest and they're like, well, I just don't agree with that, so we can't be friends. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Wow.
Yeah. And some of them were Christian friends in the fandom who just didn't want to hear the truth, and I was like, I'll pray for you.
Gosh. So yeah, that's the thing, is like all of this is deception. I would go so far as to say deception from the enemy, from Satan's forces to basically make people. Basically, it's an attack on the image of God at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, you have the identity issue, and then you have tons of, like, sexual fornication and, like, sexual sin in the fandom, and then there's, like...
Oh, boy.
There's, like, stalking and drugging and alcohol. Like, if there's something, like, you shouldn't do, it's probably somehow in the furry fandom, unfortunately.
Oh.
And I mean, that's just how dark it's gotten. Like, it wasn't that bad when I first joined as a teenager. We're talking like 2013, 2012, 2014. But it's been a long time. And so, like, I watched it deteriorate further and further. And, like, the last time I ever went to a con, FurCon, something bad happened to me. My friend was almost drug off and had something bad done to him. Like, it's just, I'm like, okay, you know, not this scene anymore. And that was just in a few years that it got that bad.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. I mean, I have great stories about, like, cons too that I went to, but there's also bad stuff that happens. Like, I'll tell one good story because this is really sweet. I had a friend who knew that some of us were struggling to eat because it was a tight year for, like, everyone at the con. So he went out to the store and he bought, like, bread, lunch meat, cheese, condiments, and, like, all that good stuff. He brought it back and he set it up at a table at the hotel. And he, like, basically kidnapped all of us willfully. And he said, sit down, have a sandwich, eat some food, and drink some water. And so that's, like, one of my, like, to this day, I still remember that. He didn't have to do that, and he did.
Oh, that is nice. Yeah, because at the end of the day, we do need to have compassion on those people here, because, like, we're writing them off as like, you know, degenerates here, some of us, but though, like, we have to remember that these are people still made in the image of God, and therefore still absolutely deserving. Because here's the thing, another aspect about being made in the image of God, one of the implications of that is that all humans are worth equally love and honor.
So I love how a pastor said this. He's like, whether you know it or not, your position is a son of God. You enter that position when you come into fellowship with him, but even when it's broken, God still formed you in your mother's womb, and he still knows you by name. And he made you. So that doesn't change even if you're apart from him on this earth, and you're still deserving of love and, like, being shown that he loves you. I met this street preacher recently, who was sharing his testimony, and he's like, one of the reasons, he's like, when I met God, I knew who he was, is because the pastor that I had an encounter with, when he was, like, on drugs and stuff, he's like, I went to this little church and this pastor loved me like a son of God. And I knew that was important because no one else had treated me human and with love and decency and respect until that moment. And he's like, we have to start treating people like they're people and not less than because of what they're going through in life. And I was like, oh, that, like, convicted me.
Yeah, for sure. Lufaya saying that there seems to be a correlation between these ideologies of altering or hiding yourself, made in the image of God, and falling into sin. It makes you think about the machinations behind it all. Oh, gosh. And you know what the machinations? Yeah. Like the, the machine behind it all.
Okay.
And the machine behind it all is sin and Satan.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Levin here saying that agree, but that it's a group that means a means to reach them. And so here's the thing there, Levin. I think there is a means to reach them, because here's the thing. I have friends in the furry fandom that I still talk to today, some of which I am planning on being able to meet up with during my upcoming road trip and stuff, because like I love these people dearly. And I have never been a part of the furry fandom. I've had various history with furries in all sorts of various ways. But though, like, I have never once called myself a furry, nor do I ever plan to. So, how on earth did I end up befriending furries? Well, we just had other mutual interests such as gaming, and so I met some of them on Twitch. Because here's the thing: at the end of the day, like I said, they are also made in the image of God. They are also humans, and so they have other interests. And you can look past what this gives you freedom here. Once you are able to look past what it is that they are identifying as, whether it's them identifying as transgender, whether they're identifying as a furry, whether they're identifying as a attack helicopter, as Grim pointed out earlier. At the end of the day, as long as you are able to look past that and objectively see that they are objectively made in the image of God, that frees you to be able to love them properly.
I went through a season where I had a really hard time loving people because of the roommates that I had, and the roommates were really judgmental of me loving people of different walks of life. They didn't get it, and so it became really difficult for me to stay friends with people who weren't necessarily believers, which was hard because I miss them, and those relationships are just gone now. Which sucks. Like, it's just like there's no getting that back. Yeah. And I'm just like, man, Lord, like, still be with them. Like, I hope I still pray that they, have an encounter with the Lord. But the reality of it is there are so many people in the church who even still judge. And so it can be really difficult, like when you like games and you are on the internet, like a Twitch streamer, and you go to like anime conventions, like or even like if you're called to go into the furry scene in the sense of to witness, I would say there would be definitely like certain criteria that need to be met before you do that. Like have a prayer team at home, have a team to go with you, have intentionality, have a game plan. How are you gonna witness? How are you gonna be a shining light in that very dark place? But know that not everyone will understand. And that's okay too. Like if that's your calling, like being on Twitch, like my old pastors didn't understand why I was on Twitch, and I was like, I don't need you to understand why I'm here. Like, it's okay. Not everyone's calling is the same, you know what I mean? Or vocation or whatever you want to call it.
Grim saying you need a hazmat suit to be able to get into those. Yeah, honestly, I would imagine the smell alone would
honestly,
be
okay, so the smell's not too bad. Most people, with the exception of a handful of people that I met, were actually pretty hygienic.
Interesting.
Because, fun fact, if you don't maintain your hygiene while you're in a fursuit, getting the smell of body odor out of the fur is near impossible.
Oh, I see.
I know, because I had a friend who was unhygienic and I tried to clean his fursuit and I washed it 3 times and dried it outside in the fresh grass in the summer and it still smelled like body odor. I was like, bro, this is unsavable. I'm sorry. Maybe next time, don't wear it until it's drenched in sweat.
Yeah. But though, so I would argue here that in terms of like, if you wanted to go and reach out to that community and stuff, I would rather suggest the method that I took of just hanging out with them, and you don't have to go into actual like furry conventions and stuff to meet furries. You can go on like there's ways to meet them online.
Go to anime cons too.
Yeah, and Katie, you said that like one of your coworkers is a furry too, right? So they have normal lives amongst us.
Oh yeah, one of my coworkers I found out is a furry. He's great. Him and I talk a lot.
Yeah. So,
funnily enough, he told me that he was a furry because he saw my VTuber stickers on my water bottle.
Of
my persona.
Yeah. That was a cool connection that you got to make there. Yeah. And with that, like, there are some Christian VTubers out there that specifically choose to call themselves Christian furries, citing that they're doing it. citing that they're doing it so that they can, like, connect with the furry fandom and be able to, reach into that community. I need to talk with those people specifically and see how effective that is, because I would assume that they would, for the most part, reject Christianity, just simply because for the same reason that those that are transgender instinctively reject those that identify as Christian, because it goes like, it's very counter to their, like, Christian culture is very opposite to their culture.
Yeah, I think it's interesting and I'm not condemning any Christian who decides to have an anthropomorphic character.
Same.
But when you distinctively decide that you're a Christian furry, I don't get it. You lose me when you say Christian and furry. Just kind of like you lose me if you say, like, I'm a gay Christian or a trans Christian, or like, I'm a this type of Christian. You just lose me. You don't. That's not what Paul meant when he said, "I became all things to all people." That's not what he was saying there. And I think, like, you can like, so Armor does a really great job of this, right? Like, Armor has an anthropomorphic character, but she's very clear she's not a furry, that she loves the Lord, that is not her identity, that it's just this cool character she came up with, right? And she does great at it, and I don't know how much she gets from the furry fandom, but one of the reasons, like, because when I was thinking of becoming a VTuber, I was gonna thinking of using one of my anthropomorphic characters. My hesitation with that is, I'm like, there's a connotation when you're an anthropomorphic creature or, character on the internet that you are automatically associated with the furry fandom. Yeah. And as somebody who used to be in the furry fandom, who doesn't necessarily want to be in the furry fandom, I didn't want people to come in and just assume I was a furry. And I think she deals with that a little bit. I think Cranberry might, and I think Frey Train might, but I'm not too sure. I don't interact a ton in their space. But yeah.
And also, Miss Geek, welcome in, and thank you for doing a tier 1 paid subscription over here. Let's go. Woo! Thank you so much. That is so kind of you as well. Also, I hope that your husband Toothless is doing well as well.
Did you say husband Toothless? Like the dragon?
Toothless Geek is her husband.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I didn't know that. And I was like, whenever I hear Toothless, I automatically think of, Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh, boy.
I'm not sorry. He's cute. He's a cute little dragon.
To listen to, and you have some very challenging. Ah, thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah. You're good.
It's okay.
But yes. So the with that, I don't think that they are acting in sin. Here's the thing.
Yeah, I don't either.
There's a difference between sinning and being unwise, because I personally just would say that, that because they often get associated as furries, even though they're explicitly using the terms anthropomorphic character and saying I am not a furry, right? Those kinds of things.
Yeah.
Even so, the fact that they are still getting associated with that stuff makes it unwise.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's inescapable at this point in today and age. Back when I was like a teenager or like a young adult, you could bypass and be like, I'm an anthropomorphic character, because not everyone knew what a furry was.
Sure.
I remember the first time I told my grandma, like years after I decided I was getting a fursuit. So I was like 20, 21.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, Katie, you're not doing that one thing, are you? I was like, what are you talking about? And I wasn't even really in the fandom at this point. I just liked making characters. And she asked me about something very distinct in the fandom that was very inappropriate. And I looked at my grandmother and I was like, Grandma, I would never. No. You should know me better than that. I love Jesus. And she's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, that's right. You do love Jesus. I was like, Grandma, what? Oh, it was so funny. And she's like, you just be careful out there, okay? And I'm like, you got it, Grandma.
I love that you just have to jog her memory.
She was so cute for me, but that actually gave me pause at that moment. And I had to think, I'm like, is it, and I equated it at that point, I'm like, to the anime fandom, because at the anime fandom I was going to, like, the anime scene was kind of iffy back then. And so I kind of equated it to the same thing of, like, it's kind of iffy, but there's some good apples. And it was kind of iffy with plenty of good apples until it became more difficult. And so I'm not saying that one thing on stream. Just know that it wasn't wholesome.
Please, yeah. Gosh. So yeah, there's
Yeah. I think it becomes, in my personal opinion, I think it becomes sinning when that's your identity now and you're no longer identifying as a human.
Yes.
And I think so many people in the fandom, like, I still have a Catholic friend who's in the fandom, and he goes to conventions with his girlfriend, and but he's not really active. Like, he does the dance competitions and he'll talk to people, but he goes to, like, the smaller cons that are, like, under 200 people that are, like, local to his area. And so I'm like, okay, like, I can see why you do that, but he's devout to the Lord. So I'm just like, I don't know. I'm like, is it wise necessarily to be going anymore? I don't think so, but I mean, that's between him and the Lord.
Yeah. For sure. Also, Jim Bim, welcome.
Hi, Jim Bim.
Yeah, so the I completely agree. I would say that is the hard one. Like, objectively speaking, if you are denying the image of God and trying to identify with something other than how you were made, that is when you've crossed the line into sin. That is when you're acting in direct rebellion against how God has made you.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Anything else you wanted to add to this discussion?
I think that's it. I think we hit it all.
All right. If y'all thought that was jarring to jump into, as we continue to define what a human is, when do you start being a human? Are you a human at conception?
Yes.
Why?
Because God made you. Like, oh my gosh, this is a cool scientific study at one point people tried to cover up. So at conception, it's proven by science that there's, like, this flash of light that happens. But I can also quote Jeremiah where, like, yes, I know it's Old Testament, whatever. Fight me about it later. But he's talking to Jeremiah and he's like, I knew you in your darkest days, like, before you were formed in your mother's womb, like, and I was there with you. And I'm just like, okay, look, if that applies to him, it applies to all of us, okay? Like, I don't care. Like, if you're not human in the womb, when do you become human? Who gets to decide that you're human, and why are you human?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so there's all sorts of different angles that you can take there. Also, welcome in the pro. Good to see you. Yeah, so the also let me note that we're not going to be diving too deep. Here's the thing. I am very passionate about the abortion subject here, because, like, I've actually had my uncle on this stream to talk about abortion in a video that is currently up on the second YouTube channel, because he runs he's like the director for some clinics here in the area, and just hearing the stories of some of the broken women that come into those places, like, yeah.
I remember in high school I got a C on a paper. I almost failed because we had to pick from a topic, and one of them was abortion, and the teacher was like, you can't use the Bible as a source to be anti-abortion. I did so anyways, knowing the risk. But I did a ton of research, looking at like imagery and what went on in clinics, and it was graphic, and it was really hard because, like, especially today and age, it's so romanticized. And the reality of it is most people don't know the side effects of abortion. It's not just you're murdering someone. There can be some extreme health side effects for the woman who gets an abortion. I had a pastor once when I was in Bible college who was pro-abortion, and him and I got into it.
Oh gosh, is you hot? Levin here saying, on a scientific level, at conception, immediately DNA is compiled on a new individual human. Yeah, so even going back to the naturalistic view camp, like despite whether you're in the Imago Dei or the naturalistic view camp here, scientifically, like, you have DNA. In fact, like, if you were to define one as, like, even just like having a heartbeat, for example, you get a heartbeat pretty early on, like before it is safe to abort the child.
Yeah.
So like, so you have the scientific level, you have the philosophical level, and you also do have the biblical level as well. Because before you knew me in my mother's womb, right? And also think about this. The first person to recognize Jesus's incarnation as Jesus was someone in a womb.
Yes, John, right?
Yeah. Exactly, yeah. Ooh, Miss Geek in here saying that her mother got pregnant with her when she was 16, went into denial for about 3 months, drank like a fish. When she finally faced reality, she went to the doctor and said it was just nearly too late to abort. So she ended up being very lucky because, even as a terrified, messed up teenager. Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
Gee whiz, absolutely. Yeah, that's the thing is like, and then Miss Geek saying got pregnant with eldest at 16 as well. Doctors say there are other options. And then daughter find out she was pregnant with her second by nearly miscarrying. Doctor again saying termination. Oh wow, gosh.
There's a lot of times that doctors, I've been listening to like a lot of like pregnancy talk on TikTok.
Yeah.
Because I have a lot of pregnant friends right now.
Mm-hmm.
And there's often times that doctors will tell you that you have to terminate, and you really don't. Like, the abortion industry is vile for lots of reasons.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go into that can of worms because that's a whole nother conversation. But yeah.
Oh gosh. But no, yeah. So
I'd be here all night.
Here on this philosophical level here, right? Like, if you had because the other camp here says that, oh, you are nothing but a clump of cells at that point, right? They would not define them as human. So that's why we're talking about this here while we're defining what a human is, because that's important. If we if we define it like based off of this, rational persons made in the image of God, distinct by their calling and nature, that child in the womb is still a human by definition. Yeah. And therefore, also from this philosophical level, right? If Miss Geek's mom had chosen to abort sooner than she did, then Miss Geek would not be here today.
Yeah.
So there was someone that I saw online, that like, you know, she was arguing with someone who said that, like, oh yeah, if you got also, like, we're about to get into some unfamily friendly territory here, so warning for stuff, because I'm about to talk about one of the reasons that people try to cite for abortion, and I'm hoping that this is long enough to cover ears or put on headphones. Rape. That's the that like, like that was somehow an excuse to.
Then you just have 2 victims rather than 1.
Exactly. So you cannot say that because of the sins that, that person's father committed, that you should then punish the child in the womb by killing them.
Yeah. I mean, I've thought about this one a lot as someone who's been SA'd and was almost, that. And there's always a possibility if that happens that pregnancy can occur. Abortion just isn't the option, right? Like, it makes 2 victims, and then you make yourself a 3rd victim because you have to grieve what you did. And that's just not the way to go.
Exactly. Let's see here. Catching up on chat here. Ironically, John the Baptist was able to believe while in infancy, while in the womb. Exactly. Yeah. Babies have detectable heartbeat before women even find out that they are pregnant. Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, seriously.
But I think between like 6 to 7 weeks, by the time you find out that you're pregnant, if you go in to have an abortion, if I remember correctly, it's cited that the baby will try to move away. Definitely by 12 weeks, if you have a later term abortion, the nerves are formed and the baby does move away and tries to get away because it's causing them pain. That's what I told someone once. They're like, it's my body, my choice. I'm like, if it's your body, your choice, you would be the one dead, not the baby. I mean, ultimately, the baby would also be dead. But I mean, like... Yeah, the baby is a victim too, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay. All right. I think we are good. We can let Grim back in. Because he was saying like, let me know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Done with that. All right. You can bring your kids back in. Alrighty.
It's safe.
Yep. Alrighty. The in the Bible, one of the worst sins is child sacrifice. Oh yeah. Basically, people are like abortion is sacrificing on the altar of like self, essentially.
Yeah.
In various ways. Yeah, go ahead.
The justification that my pastor at the time had for being pro-abortion was he was almost aborted, but he's like, I wouldn't have wanted my mother to have an unsafe abortion with like a coat hanger. And I'm like, there's no such thing as a safe abortion even in today's society. It's just less risky. But it's not safe. I'm like, if you think it's safe, you have been lied to and you're lying to yourself.
Yeah, for sure. Alrighty, so I think that is all that I had under the like defining humanity half of this stream. So the other half because like again we've talked about abortion a lot in my video specifically about abortion, and also it's going to come back up again when we hit up our next series, Counterculture. So I want to beat this horse into glue, but not today.
Fair. That is fair. There's a time and a place for everything.
Yep. Sorry, welcome, man. Put this on the family TV. Oh no.
At least there's different topics, right?
Yeah. Alrighty. So the other half of of anthropology is the society aspect of humanity, right? What is a society? And this is a definition that I got straight off of Google, straight from the Oxford Dictionary. The aggregate of people living together in a more or less ordered community. I was debating whether to keep that phrase more or less in there, but because arguably you had to have at least some semblance of order to have a community. Even if it's just like I live here, you live there, like that is still ordering yourself to a degree. So I do agree that there are varying degrees of order, but there is at minimum some degree of order.
I mean, there's some degree of order, just less order in other places in America.
The pro in chat saying, not sure we live in a society then in America. Gosh. Yeah, no. So with regards to society, one of the things I wanted to talk about here. Oh, I should have made a slide for this because I tried to make a slide for every single like term so that anyone taking notes can have their vocab terms written out and stuff, because there will be a quiz at the end. Because at the end of the Concise Theology series, we did a Kahoot quiz and there was a merch giveaway. So there will be a quiz at the end. Hope all y'all have been taking notes. But what was I saying? Oh yeah. So individualism versus collectivism. Individualism and collectivism, right? So individualism sees the like lowest unit, like the smallest unit of what makes up a society as the individual, whereas collectivism would say the smallest unit of a society is like a household, for example, or a town or something like that, right? Like,
interesting.
Because think about it. There's this old saying that it takes a village to raise a child, right?
Yeah.
Because and there's a reason for that saying. It's because it's not just you raising your kid, but though like, you know, the people around you that are also influencing them in various ways, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Levin's saying that collectivism and individualism both have anti-Christian extremes. Interesting.
That's funny because the twin and I were just talking about that yesterday.
Oh yeah, go on.
Yeah, so individualism, which is the American experiment, to an extent, is all about self, and it puts the individual above the collective, right? So like, I have more rights as an individual than like the collective, like my family and things, right? Like my rights are like first and foremost, so like there's that selfishness to it, of like it's me, and collectivism can get to this point of like it's all about like taking from others to give to others. And
yep, okay, I see where you guys are coming from. Yep, once you get into that Marxist area, I was just reading about Marxism, actually in preparation for this stream, beforehand, from this amazing book called The Consequences of Ideas, which takes a bunch of philosophers and like talks about, well, the consequences of their ideas from a Christian standpoint, and it is an amazing book. In fact, I'm thinking that like, well, maybe this time next year, like once we, because I want, you know, after this philosophy series, we're going to do another culture/politics series, and then after that do another like systematic theology series, and then maybe after that we'll do another psychology series. So I'm thinking maybe we'll get to that book eventually. But yeah, Marxism, another slide that I should have made, which basically is communism, right? It's where you think
it's by R.C. Sproul.
Yes, R.C. Sproul, yes.
Thank you.
Correct. Very good book. Very good book. I've been enjoying it so far. What you call it? So basically, where Marx started there and how communism started is he saw labor as like an inherent evil when it comes, like he saw like, oh yeah, like, oh, people aren't enjoying their work because they don't have freedom in their work, right? They have to work for money. They have to work in order to live. And because of that, they're like held slaves to capitalism and all these things. And therefore he, you know, that's where communism came from, is to like try to give this individual freedom to pursue your dreams and to go after whatever. And so it ended up starting in a very individualistic place that then brought about this collectivism. So really, you could also say that that version of collectivism wasn't even truly collectivism. It was just like a hyper individualism that went, like that tried to be collective and individual at the same time, and that's why it never worked. Yeah. So the but with that, but wasn't Jesus a communist? No. Gosh,
I didn't know how to respond to that comment, so I was like, no.
Yeah, no, I've seen those memes out there where like there's some like, some like liberals that would say, look, Jesus was a communist. He was giving out like, bread and all this stuff, and it's like, no, at the end of the day, Jesus understood that's like you have to, that's the wages of sin. He talked a lot about capitalist topics too. So from that, if you're going to make that argument, then you could equally make the argument in the other direction. So I don't think that Jesus would firmly go into either camps, but I don't know. I'm not Jesus, so I can't really say.
I mean, let's be real here. If Jesus wanted to take everything and redistribute it, he totally could, because he's God. like, I had this conversation with somebody recently, not necessarily about collectivism or individualism, but like, if God wanted to kill me, he could, and he wouldn't have to explain to me why, because he's God and he made me. And so from him all things were made, and to him all things shall return, in that sense. So like, I don't know, y'all, like, the figuring out certain things hurts my head. It doesn't make sense in human comprehension. But that still wouldn't make him a communist.
Yeah, no, there were so many things about that Marx, like Marx, for example, did not predict the middle class. He would have thought it like impossible for the middle class to develop out of a capitalist society, right? So there's a lot going against that from the get-go. But that aside, because again, we'll maybe explore that a year from now. But I guess really the point that I wanted to make about like what is a good collectivism, right? Like, because like I said, so what is the smallest unit of a society? That's what really I'm getting at here. This idea that families are a family is the smallest unit of a society. Exactly there, Levin. Yeah, that is more so what I am trying to get at. Because that is, it all really started with the feminist movement. Let's be honest here.
Oh, it's true.
Yeah. Because here's the thing. Back when that was the norm to see families as the smallest unit of society, it didn't really matter that that woman didn't have the right to vote, because because that was not their perspective. Their perspective was, okay, all these households have representatives to be able to vote already, right? So there's one person per household designated, right? And so the woman never felt like their voices weren't being heard or anything like that, because their husband was representing them just fine. In fact, many of them didn't want suffrage because of the other responsibilities that comes with, such as being enlisted for draft.
Actually, women still don't have to enlist for drafts.
Ooh, that's good.
At least not that I heard. I heard they were pushing for it, but then they're like, okay, but if you draft everyone, who's going to be here to take care of the kids?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, there's also
Oh,
a lot of people just not voting. That's true. But yeah.
yeah.
And Levin saying that in the Old Testament the father was the head of the household, but if he died, the widow was then given the headship for things like voting and representation. Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah.
And if like father didn't have any sons, the daughters got like special like allotments and such like that.
Yeah. So like society already had a way to make sure that, you know, women that weren't part of a household still were able to get that proper representation within society, right? So yeah. Let's not draft Zari here. Yeah, no, absolutely not. She indeed would make a terrible soldier. Jeez. Alrighty. But yes, so all of that to say here, like, so so when it comes to individualism, what are some of the consequences of that idea?
I think we see it a lot in America, where it's a lot of like me, myself, and I. Like, if you're talking about feminism and individualism, it's I don't need a man, and just men being dogged on. Yeah. If you're talking about like individualism, how it has destroyed the family unit, it's like, well, I don't need to stay with my parents. I don't need to be involved. I can just put them in a nursing home. I don't have to take care of anybody. I don't need anyone else but myself to be happy. I could go on, but some of it's a topic for another day.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, because mankind, we are made as social creatures. So
yeah,
you really kind of miss out on part of what it means to be a human when you become individualistic as well. Maybe I should put that in my definition, actually.
Ooh, and think about like how COVID really ruined certain like social skills of people because they were alone. They lived with no one and they couldn't, you know, you were restricted in certain places where you couldn't go out. Certain places had curfews. You know, and so like you had like these people alone in their homes for months, not having any communication with anyone outside of the internet. And you saw the effects of that.
True. Coach, welcome in. Yeah, no, and the effects were not good. No. Now with regards to oh, where was I about to go with this? I had a thought. Dang it.
I'm sorry.
No. You're good. I was reading. It was not your fault. It was me trying to read chat. But
humans aren't real. We're all fake.
Yeah. Gosh. Yeah. Let's apply this now. Individualism versus collectivism to the church.
Ooh.
So many people think that they do not need a church because their faith walk is their own.
How is your faith walk your own when you see it constantly in the Bible to gather together, and when Jesus says two or more gather together?
Exactly.
It's why I don't like
chat.
It's why I'm low-key against online churches.
Yes, chat, listen carefully. Your faith is not your own. Your faith was never your own. Your faith was a gift from God in the first place. What made it yours? You didn't earn it. You got it given to you because of the grace and what Jesus accomplished in the first place. It's not your own. It never was and it never will be. It's God's gift to you. Therefore, why on earth are you saying that your faith is your own? Oh, I'm going to, like let me do my own thing, find faith my own way, and try, do my own little Bible studies. And I don't need to go to church because I can.
I'm not laughing at you.
My works are in place in heaven. Yeah, no.
That's what I was laughing at.
Oh gosh, no. Yes. But no, yeah, that is the that is
I think
yeah, that again, that's my problem with online I'll let you go ahead and speak to that. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I think it's really dangerous because when you said, like, faith isn't your own, right? We had, like, this whole, like, it's still going on, like, this deconstructive movement of deconstructing my faith. Well, okay, I hate to tell it to you, but, like, you're not gonna be able to figure it out on your own. You're not gonna have all the answers. You're not gonna know everything. Like, the Holy Spirit can reveal things to you, but we're really supposed to be in fellowship doing this together. And I have no problems with people asking questions. I was an annoyance to my grandparents with all the questions I asked about the Bible. And I annoyed my pastors with all the questions I asked about the Bible sometimes. So I'm all for asking questions, but the reality of it is like you can't figure it out on your own. You can't do this alone. We're supposed to sharpen each other. We're supposed to walk with each other, like confess your sins to one another to like help bear the burden to hold each other accountable. You can't do that if you're walking alone. This isn't a lone wolf show. And this is what I struggle with. I am so bad at talking to and leaning on people like in the body of Christ. I'd rather like I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to confess my sins because I have been condemned, judged, and shamed for my sins by other believers, told that I wasn't good enough, that I wasn't pure, that I was unclean, and all these things, right? So like I have like tons of problems like sharing my burdens with people. But guess what? We're supposed to share our burdens with one another. So, yeah, you can't do that if you're trying to run this race alone. You just can't.
Yeah, for sure. And also, Levin saying have a huge theological debate on that, but might not be the time. After we're done with the recording here, like we keep rolling the stream even after we're done with the recording to have all of those kinds of things. So you may absolutely put a pin with that and uncork that can once after stream there, Levin. And then Ghost asking, does more than two people coming together make it a church? No. Now where two or three are gathering in his name, there he is among them. Yes, that is a true statement. But he doesn't say where two or three are gathering in my name, that makes them a church. No.
But I mean, like, if they're joining together to come together as like 3 or 4 or 5 people to be equipped to worship and to go back out, wouldn't you call that a church?
So okay, yes. So well, you're closer. That is one of the main purposes of a church, right? So you have to look at the big picture of how Paul instructs the church, right? Especially if you look at like the books to the letters to Corinthians, which are all about y'all ain't churching good. Here's how to church properly.
Y'all ain't churching good.
Yeah. So they are marked by the sacraments. Firstly, right? Baptism and communion. That is an important aspect of being a church. They are also marked by gathering. And during our week with Flat Cap Dapper Pastor on
I love Flat Cap.
Yeah, when we were talking about in our cosmology talk about like what does it mean to be present with one another, that was a whole debate and a half. We did decide that like there are 3 levels of presence. There's relational presence, which is, you and I right now are relationally present with one another by being in this call, but we are not physically present with one another, and we are not spiritually, well, debatably not spiritually. That's a whole nother can of worms, but that's a can of worms that we're not opening tonight.
No.
Because we already opened them in another video. But though, like the point is, we are not physically present with one another. So can we say that we have truly gathered? Not fully. So we are not fully present with one another. Therefore, one can argue that we are not truly fully gathered, and therefore not truly fully could call this church. Is the line of logic I would use.
That's fair.
Yes. But yes, the iron sharpens iron. You cannot do that alone. Woe to the man who has no one to pick him up when he falls. Ecclesiastes 4:10. Yes. Oh,
So,
yes, that's a good one. Go ahead.
Just because Ghost said, oh man, this is weird because I think church it's like mixed with like politics and stuff.
Yeah.
Having to own a building, bunch of people, and I've seen good and bad churches, and I'm like, what if I or we just make our own? I think like there's a distinction like part of church used to be like home churches in the sense of believers would gather together in their homes.
Yeah.
And I think you're seeing a shift back to that today. And I think that's really beautiful because like the reality of it is my church, the church I go to now is rather large. And I'm not going to meet everybody there. So like if I want to have community with people, I need to go to like a small group or meet some people and have them over or like go to somebody's house. But if you're going to a church that the Lord's called you to, pray about it. And like if there's things that are incorrect, try talking to the pastor. If he's, at that point, if he's like, yeah, no, I'm not going to listen. Like he's whatever. Then pray about maybe going somewhere else. It's because like no one's above correction, in my opinion, including pastors. And if they think they are, they have bigger fish to fry. And they'll have to answer to the Lord one day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the and again, like we've debated what a church is back in that cosmology video. So I don't want to linger too much in this rabbit trail here.
No, respect.
Yeah. But though, a building is not a church, right? You can absolutely have someone in a coffee shop, for example, like Denali's church meets in a coffee shop. Like that's perfectly fine. A home, perfectly fine. But I would define a church as one that gathers, and edifies. Builds up one another with some semblance of organization to where you have someone designated at minimum as a pastor, which is to say like someone that is a shepherd of that flock, right? So you have to some semblance of organization, gathering those and also the sacraments. Those are the key elements. So, exactly. There needs to be organization. 11 saying there. Yep. Prefer the word congregation over the word church. Honestly, I do also like the word congregation quite a bit more as well. Yeah. Currently do not have a church home base, but yeah. I'm just speed running through chat here. This is weird because you think churches like mix with like politics and stuff. Having church people is like, what if we just make it our own? I've seen good and bad from that. Yeah, because there are some people that bring that to an extreme and won't even go so far as to like designate qualified people as pastors, because there are qualifications as to who can be a pastor. And so I would go so far as to say if your pastor is not qualified, if you don't have a qualified pastor over your flock, you are just a bunch of wandering sheep. So
here's my 2 cents is it's too easy to become a pastor today, and that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, and we've covered this during that talk with Flat Cap. We've also covered this during our week on the church during our concise theology. So there's actually a couple videos y'all can go and watch. Yeah, maybe that's a good decision. Yeah, Sacramento. No, not Sacramento. No. Okay. Yes. Okay. I'm finally caught up on chats. Okay. Anything else on the individualism part before we move on to our final topic?
Nope.
Alrighty, y'all ready to get once again vibe checked? We're about to switch gears into capital punishment. Whoa.
Wait, pause. Miss Geek, I do not think you necessarily have to go to school to be a qualified pastor. There are guidelines in the Bible about what makes a qualified pastor. All the original disciples weren't like Sadducees or Pharisees. They were just equipped by Jesus. And so I would argue that you don't necessarily have to go to school to be a pastor, but there are guidelines about pastorship in the Bible.
Yes, I would agree with that. I agree with what Katie said. Now, someone that is a pastor or elder should take that seriously and go into and like, you know, study that kind of stuff. You will have a more healthy pastor as a result. But the qualifications that I was referring to are the ones in the letters to Timothy. Yes.
Yeah. I just wanted to clarify that because I knew that's what you were talking about. But a lot of people, when they hear qualified, they're like, oh, college. No.
Was it Titus? Wait, was it Titus or was it Timothy? I thought it was Timothy. They're
also
welcome in Ella Rind. Yes, indeed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're welcome. Capital punishment.
Yeah, capital punishment. Yes, let's get through our final topic here because we're already over time. But yes. So capital punishment versus rehabilitation is so we're talking about society here, how we order society. And the reason I wanted to bring this one up is because this goes back to what we were talking about earlier about the image of God, right? Mankind is created in God's image. So I hope y'all still have your place over in what was that? Genesis 9.
Genesis. Yep.
Yeah. So Genesis 9:6. Whoever sheds man's blood, by man his blood shall be shed. For in the image of God he made man. So there's all sorts of people out there that are like, all right, that's an Old Testament thing. We don't need to be following that. What are you doing? It's not doesn't say anything about that in the New Testament now, doing it? To which I would say, what is the purpose? What is the reason given? Because here's the thing. All of the Old Testament, we still need to look at it and understand, because it helps us to understand what matters to God, right? So it says here, the reason for this is in that last half of verse 6, for in the image of God he made man, right? It is because we are made in the image of God that someone that murders is attacking God. Someone that murders is attacking the image and likeness of God. That is why they deserve capital punishment, is because it's not that man. Because here's the thing, from a more naturalistic perspective, right? If mankind is just some kind of accident, not made in the image of God, then yeah, absolutely, sure. There would be room to you say, okay, let's go and rehabilitate that person instead. But no, because it's not man that they were offending by murdering. It was God. That is why they do in fact deserve to die.
What about Cain?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. So Cain, God was merciful there.
But why was he merciful?
Yeah. So let's
no. I'm asking because I did a study on this, so I'm curious if my study was correct or if you know anything, just so you know.
Oh, good. No. Oh, you give your part here. I'm gonna. Yeah.
Okay, so I was listening to a teacher talk about this once, and in the Hebrew, when Cain's like, oh no, this is too much for me to bear, what Cain was actually saying was that my sin, what I committed, what I had done was too much of a burden for him to bear, and he was repentant. And that's why the Lord's like, okay, well then you shall not die. And then he put a mark on Cain. It was because Cain came to understand and knew what he had done was wrong.
Yeah. And frankly,
I
it all did come back around to him, because he still how did he die? By the hand of man, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was so that law in Genesis 9 still did end up applying in a more roundabout way to Cain, because his life was still, he ended a life. Man shed man's blood, and thus a man shed his blood in return, right?
Wait, Cain was murdered? Or killed?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
But wait, didn't God say that Cain wouldn't be killed?
No, it's just that whoever would take on that punishment would get, sevenfold punishment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So there was a mark saying,
I think it was one of the Lamechs that killed him. Yeah. Or wait a second.
Yeah.
Maybe I am misremembering. I would have to go back and look. But yes, the also go saying those laws were made after Cain. There's also that, right? So because here's the thing, murder ended up being rampant in the times leading up to Noah, right? That ended up being part of why God judged the whole earth there with that flood. It's just because of how much blood was being shed and things like that. And so that's why afterwards here with Noah, he sets up this covenant and this law about capital punishment. So yeah. The society to judge Cain would have been Adam, Eve, and Cain, and maybe a few daughters. What happens if Cain fights Adam? That's also a good point. Is that who? Yeah. So God would have to have been the one to take the life there. But yeah, Zari's family's recent thoughts on that. With Cain, it felt like God was making an attempt to end the violence when he marked him. Yeah. That's also true. Oh gosh, the child sacrifices. Yeah, there's so many sources of killing and blood.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. All right, so let's talk about rehabilitation here. We live in a society here that is that tries to emphasize rehabilitation first over actual consequences for your actions, right? For some reason we don't think that there should be consequences for such things. It's just okay, we put you in jail, which really a lot of prisons are not very punishing in terms of
No.
Yeah.
It's not like they used to be on where the prison where Al Capone was on an island. Or John when he was exiled to Patmos.
Yeah. I mean, back in the day of Paul, they wouldn't even provide the basics like food or water and stuff. You had to
others had to provide it.
Yeah, exactly. So you had to have friends provide that stuff. Yeah. Oh, of course it depends on what the crime is, 11, of course. But though, I mean, just going off of murder specifically, right? I mean, there's been some examples in recent politics where someone kept getting out of jail, just released from jail without going to prison for a dozen times on end for increasingly violent things until it culminated in murder. That person was basically being taught that there are no consequences for these violent actions, that he was committing. And that there taught him, okay, then I can just murder.
Yeah. I think that's one of the problems with the individualistic movement over society.
Yeah.
Is that people sometimes put people who do evil deeds above the collective. And I'm like, that doesn't work. It's never worked.
Yeah.
And it's just gotten worse in our society, which is founded on individualism and so many other issues.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all that I had to say on that subject. Did you have anything else you wanted to add?
I don't think so. I should probably say that I don't know if I'm pro or against capital punishment, but I depends on the case.
Yeah. I should say for the record, there are at least two things that I think justify capital punishment, and it is murder and pedophilia.
Yeah,
Hands
those
down.
are my two.
Yeah. But anyways.
Everything else, I think it depends on the case.
Yep. But yes. So, with that, yeah. Would you like to pray us out here, Katie, as we wrap up the recording?
Yeah, for sure. Hi, Abba. Thank you for this day that we got to spend together talking and learning and growing and fellowshipping with one another. I just pray that we remember what we talked about, that we learned more about your characteristics and who you are, and also just your love for us and the principles that we learned here today and how to apply them. Let us take what we learned today and figure out how to apply it in our lives, and if it's applicable at all. And Lord, bless everyone here. Bless Will for holding these Wisdom Wednesdays, and bless everyone in chat. May they have a sweet night or day, depending on where they are. And thank you that we could gather. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.